This video is going to take you on a tour of the Gimp work area. Now, after you've downloaded and installed your Gimp program, go ahead and open it up, and you're going to see a few windows pop up onto your monitor. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And these are the three windows I was talking about. Over here on the far left, you've got your toolbox. Here in the center, you've got your work area or your canvas window. And over here on the right, you have your dock window, which holds your dialog boxes, though. Like, for example, the channels, the undo history, and the layers, as well as any other dialog box you want to add here. And you can do that by hitting this little arrow here. I mean, there's a couple of ways you can do it. This is just one. Go to Add Tab. And let me move this over here. Go to Add Tab, and you can select from any of these items over here to add into your dialog box. For example, paths and color map. And you can see the more that we add, the more crunched this gets. Well, with the version 2.8 of Gimp, you're now able to have multiple columns, so you can take up a much larger area with multiple dialog boxes in your one docking window. So this works out perfectly if you are using multiple monitors. The only problem with this, though, is that for some reason, while I am recording this, it's not going to allow me to do that. Because how you do that is you grab one of these tabs you've got open, left click, hold, and drag it over to the side here. And whenever you do, right about here, you're going to have a blue border pop up over here. At that point, let go, and it's going to add it to a different column. I'm going to do this outside of this recording area here and bring it back in. And I'm going to do it with paths and the undo history. And you can see there, for some reason, it won't let me do it within the recording area. I mean, it'll let me do it on the same monitor as long as I'm outside of the recording box here, but I don't know. Anywho, technology. You gotta love it, right? But this is what it looks like. And you can also do multiple dialog boxes in the same column. What you would do is you would just left click, hold, and drag that tab to the bottom. And when the bottom area right here turns blue, then let go. Then it will add that dialog box within this same column. Let me show you. Just like that. Pretty nifty. And like I said, with a second monitor, you can have this thing loaded up with different dialog boxes instead of having them all scrunched together in the one column without it having to take away from your workspace. Now you can have all three of these windows here neatly combined into one window or a single window, and I'll touch on that in more detail here in just a second. Now over here on the far left in the toolbox window, when you click on a particular tool icon, like say the text tool, the features of that tool show up down here below. So if you hit the paint bucket tool, you can see how that changes. The gradient tool, you can see how that changes. This allows you to fine-tune the features of that particular tool prior to adding it to your work area. Now there are even additional tools you can add to your toolbox, and I'll get to that here in just a second as well. Now along the top of your work area window is the menu area. And like most menus, you just click on the title and it's going to drop down more functions. Like under the file here, this is where you can create a new image, or you can create an image from your clipboard, scanner, camera, web page, screenshot, and so on. Or you can open up previous projects and work on those. Better yet, you can open them as layers. And you come on down here, click on quit, and that's going to close out all three windows simultaneously. Yes, you could go up here and hit the top right X on each of these windows. Actually, if you hit this one, it'll close out all three of them. But the best way to close out your program is to come up here under File and then click on Quit, or use the keyboard shortcut holding down your Control key on your keyboard while at the same time hitting the letter Q. Now over here under Edit, if we come on down to Preferences, and over here in the left window under Toolbox, this is where you can select some of these tools over here that maybe you feel that you're not going to be needing. You can just toggle them off or on. And if you scroll down further, you can see some additional tools that can be added that are not there by default. But if you find that you're not actually going to be using the desaturate tool, why take up all that extra space? Totally up to you. But now you know where you can go in and adjust your work area within your toolbox window. Now also over here in the left window of your preferences section, down here under window management, go and select that. And this guy right here, by default, the box is ticked. and that's going to save the window positions on exit. In other words, if I come up here and I have the dock window for my dialog box maybe like right here, and my toolbox like right like this, with this box ticked, and I close out Gimp, whenever I open it back up, this is how it's going to open up, just like this, which may be exactly what you want, but with this guy ticked, and if we close this one out first, then close out Gimp, then it's going to open it up as it was when it was closed out. And when it was closed out, this guy was not in existence. So when you open it up, again with this box ticked, it's only going to open up the main work area and the toolbox. Now that you know that, you want to make sure that you close out Gimp the right way. And that is again up here under File, go to Quit, instead of closing out the individual boxes. But if you do happen to do that by mistake, where you close one of these guys out first and then close out Gimp, you can always come back in here and reset saved window positions to default values. Or you can untick this box here and arrange the windows the way that you want them to show up each and every time, and then click on Save Window Positions Now. That way, no matter how you close it out, it's always going to be opened up the same way that it was whenever you clicked on this guy right here. And while you're in the Preferences box, you might want to go ahead and check out some of these other items here as well. Let's go ahead and close this guy out. Go ahead and click on OK. Now up here under the menu area, if we go to View, let me show you what I'm talking about. Come up here and go to New, and this pops up. And just for the sake of this demo, we're going to go ahead and click on OK. Now then, if we go to View, you can see how these are functioning now. And if you don't want the rulers, that's this guy over here and over here. Boom, gone. Come on back up to View. And if you happen to inadvertently click on this one to where it no longer shows the menu bar, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, now what am I going to do? At least that's what I thought the first time that happened to me. Well, no biggie. Just right click on your image area and you've got your menu right here. And you can come back to View, come on back down. Let me do this up here so you can see. Right click, go to View, come on back down here and show menu bar once again. There you go. And I also wanted to show you how you can get all these three windows to show up in one window. Come up here to Windows, click on Single Window Mode. Boom, there you go. Now some people prefer this. I myself, since I do work with multiple monitors, I prefer the multiple window view. That way I can take my dock window full of my dialog boxes and toss them over onto the other monitor, and it gives me much bigger work area to play around with. But now you know how you can get the single window mode going. And before we close out this video, I wanted to also point out here under the help section, you've got tons of additional information you can rely on here. You can check out the user manual here, and with Gimp Online you've got the user manual website and the tip of the day, which allows you to consume little nuggets of knowledge as you go along. Now of course there's a ton more to using Gimp than what was covered in this video tour, but hopefully this has shown you enough to get excited about all the possibilities of using this free and powerful tool called Gimp. Thanks for watching and have a great day.